3 times. 4 times. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side, hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lock with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road, take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bunty hole. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had the slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that, man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peek these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Hello. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom to you if you are observing the lunar Sabbath and the sun is still upon you. Shalom, love this song. Medicine is also another favorite of mine. Okay, so... Medicine is also a fave of mine. I told my husband that song is on my workout list. Yes. I twerk out to medicine. So speaking of my husband, shout out to him. If you are not please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Like, share, subscribe. There you can check out some of my husband's music. You can see some of our other podcast episodes, some of just my stuff, some stuff with him and I together. But yes, go ahead, take a gander. Follow him on all of your socials at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. It's like a song now. And also, I would like to announce, yes, your girl has her own YouTube channel now. Okay. We're actually live there for the first time tonight. And I'm also live on TikTok, you guys. Okay. Just trying to branch out and spread out and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Casting that out and see what we come back with. If you feel moved to donate, give, help toward the cause of all these lights, cameras, and action, please. The Cash App is $ the House of Mono. We thank you in advance. Let me see. Anything else on here? Okay. So, like, I didn't really like have a set topic like I usually do this week. I just called it reality check. Why? Because I just feel like we need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just like a sister to sisters check in. We need to talk about some things, right? But would I fight what? Anyway, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be live on TikTok. But so as far as what's going on in Babylon, I'm very disappointed that the Lakers advanced past the Warriors. I'm trying to say that as unbiasedly as I can because I'm not like a sports fanatic or anything like that. It's just, that's what I wanted to happen, but it didn't happen. So that's okay. Speaking of things that did, this did happen. John Morant was suspended for a second time in two or 3 months for waving a gun where I'm not going to say where he should have been. And so here comes the argument, right? His personal freedoms, his personal liberties versus his professional obligations. Like, when I was coming up, celebrities were just like default role models. It was just kind of understood, especially for Black celebrities. Like, if you're a Black celebrity, you're supposed to be a role model for all the Black fatherless children everywhere. And more recently, you've seen a separation of that, right? You don't see that pressure put on celebrities to be role models or to maintain any kind of image anymore, especially in this time of shaming. And you can't shame anyone, you can't make anyone feel bad for what they're doing. So now no one is ridiculing anyone, no one's holding anyone to any kind of standard. Okay. So this is what I was gonna get to. He really ain't do nothing wrong though, because he lives in a carry state. Yes, so Tennessee is a carry state. Just like here in Georgia. You can get a permit. We are permitted licensed carriers. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's because we're Black. Okay. And we don't want to take any chances. So we've been permitted licensed carriers. Okay. But here in Georgia, I can have a gun on me. That there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with him having the gun on him. Not at all. But now we're talking about your professional obligations. We're talking about the fact that this man had why do I want to say $2 million or $200 million contract? He lost I want to say like $662,000 from his last suspension. Okay. So you would think that either he would not do that again, or hey, maybe he just don't care about money like that. Maybe he just doesn't care. Yes, we do at the House of Mono. Maybe he just has so much money that these suspensions and things don't matter to him. Okay. It's just like kind of this situation with Rick Ross. If you live in Georgia, Then you've been hearing about Rick Ross is having his car show or whatever. He lives in Fayetteville. And I mean, it's no little plot of land. This man has acres upon acres of land, but his neighbors are complaining because when he has these events, it blocks their traffic. It makes it hard for them to come and go. So they went to the county, him and his lawyers, and the county were like, no, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna approve the permit for this event. Oh, the Light magazine, shalom, sis. Thank you. We're not gonna give you the permit for this. Don't have this car show. Well, basically, Rick Ross and his lawyer been on the news saying we still having a car show. They still preparing. They putting the cars out and everything else. And what comes to mind is clearly he doesn't care about their consequences. Like if the county has denied your permit and you continue to go forward with this event, there should be consequences for breaking the law. I'm sure whatever it is probably just a fine or something. But hello, you're talking about Rick Ross. Okay, you're not talking about your average Joe Six-Pack. You're not talking about your average blue collar worker. Okay, he's probably going to pay those fines and keep on going. So, what do you do? Like, this is an intersection where class and race meet, and it's kind of like class supersedes race now, because if these issues were happening to if John Morant worked at the post office and he was suspended twice, he'd have probably been fired first. If this was a violation of his agreement with the post office and he's making a regular salary for a postal worker, you know what I mean? Do we think he would continue in this kind of behavior? And so are these these celebrities who make so much money, who basically live off the attention of the public, are they obligated to us to live to some moral standard? Or are they just humans? Are they just people too? And it doesn't matter. Nikki Nicole, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Please feel free to join in the conversation. I'm trying to keep my hands out the view, y'all. We have been working over here, okay? I've been printing shirts. It's been going. All praises to the Most High. It's been going. So I have been contributing to that effort. And so therefore I have not had time for my trip to the nail salon. I was going to go today, but we observed the lunar. It's the Shabbat. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to spend money on the Shabbat just to get my nails done. I'm going to just have to try to keep them out the picture. So if y'all see me struggling, it's because I'm trying to sit on my hands. Okay. You can't get fired from a regular job for having a gun if it's not against the law, though. Okay, but someone like a teacher could. You know what I'm saying? Like, teachers have gotten fired for their online behavior, even though it wasn't against the law. Teachers have gotten fired for having an OnlyFans. Teachers have gotten fired for what they do online. And they make considerably less, and they influence considerably a smaller amount of people. So, and should John Morant just be fired at this point? Like, what's the point of why keep suspending him? For what? It's like you keep telling your kid, and I'm guilty of this. I'm a parent that's guilty of this. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna whoop you. Sit down. Stop. I'm gonna whoop you. Stop. Sit down. I'm gonna whoop you. And you never do. Because again, clearly he does not care about the money that he's losing, quote unquote, from this. So Sir, no, the science teacher you cannot have the thing is they're having these OnlyFans and the students and or the parents are finding them and they're complaining and getting them fired. So that's where the trouble comes in. So no, uh Mrs. Frizzle should not have an OnlyFans, okay? All right, so let's get into something, all right? And I didn't post a picture because I didn't want it to be about the picture and I didn't want it to be about the person. I didn't want what I was saying to be misconstrued, okay? But I'm pretty sure we've all seen or heard the picture of Sukiana talking about she wants to be a wife, tag a Hebrew Israelite. Ain't nobody gonna protect you like a Hebrew Israelite and all this other stuff. And let me say this. Um, I pray that she is not making a mockery of what we hold dear. I pray that she's not. Like I for real pray that she's sincere. Um, but that's not for me to judge. I pray that she finds her way, okay? Um, I can't imagine though how it feels. No, I can't imagine because I've been single in this age of social media. Okay. I know how it feels to be single in the age of social media and to be trying to uphold a certain standard, right? To live with some type of decency, to keep what should be covered, what's special, keep it special. It's hard to be single and having to compete for the same pool of men with women who are not as careful about how they present themselves to the world. Okay, I get it. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Like, well, I got guns too. Why I can't show mine? I understand the frustration, right? Um, Especially for the sisters who are online, who are really trying to set forth an example for other sisters out here, right? It's like all of a sudden a woman that's in the world says something and everybody's flocking to that. And you probably sitting there, well, I've been looking for a husband for years. I've been saying on years that I've been looking for a husband. What? You know what I'm saying? And what makes it so difficult is you've been told that in order to get the husband that you want, this is how you present yourself. So this is how you're presenting yourself, but you still ain't got no husband. You ain't got no boyfriend, you ain't got no man. You can't get somebody to pick you up and take you out on a date right now today if you wanted to. Okay, I get it. But you see everybody else no no such discretion. But every time they outside, they on this cruise, they going here, they going there, they doing that. And it's almost like, Lord, it feels like what I'm doing is wrong. Like it's lonely, I'm sad, I'm depressed. I don't have any friends. I can't really hang out with anybody. I don't have nobody to talk to. And then when I try to talk to the other women who claim to be Israelites around me, these heifers is crazy and weird. If I'm lying, please correct me in the comments. It's hard trying to live right, even among those who also claim to be trying to live right. And there are differences in right living and how it looks, but some stuff just don't be right at all. You know what I'm saying? And you have to take a step back and be like, "Oh, I don't need this in my life." And then you're like, "Dang, I thought I had a friend. Dang, I thought I had somebody I could talk to. I thought I had somebody I could kick it with." Here I am right back at square one. It gets hard and it can be lonely. But I need to encourage you to just hold on. Like, just keep your face down and keep doing what you're doing. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Don't worry about what's going on over here or what's going on over there, because see, all you see is what they want you to see. They showing you a highlight reel of their life. You don't see them when they first wake up in the morning and who is or is not with them. You don't see them when they crying and sad and depressed and who is or who is not with them. You don't see the whole life. You just see a small glimpse. It's like with anything. I don't get on social media first thing in the morning because I don't want y'all to see me. Y'all don't need to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain parts of your life you just don't expose. Just like in regular social interaction, if we all worked together, I'm not going to tell you everything about me like that. Okay. Same thing with social media. It's not that people are trying to cherry pick and only show you, what's good in order to front. But it's just that in any social situation, you're not going to tell all your business. You only going to tell what you want people to know. So when you're looking at these women who you feel like are living a life you want to live, you got to remember, babe, these are only pictures. They out here paying for these dates. They out here buying these niggas off. Like, please understand, every picture you see is not that, every caption ain't true. Everybody ain't in love like that. You want a man that sees you for you initially. You don't want to be seen as a sexual object. It is very hard to get removed from that place in a man's mind. Once he has decided that you are not wife material, you become a thing. Once he know he not gonna take you seriously, and see, sisters, let me help y'all. Y'all confuse a man getting your coochie seriously and getting you as a wife seriously. Yes, he will seriously pursue having sex with you. He gonna show up for your dates. He gonna bring you flowers. He gonna Uber you food. He gonna bring whatever you told him, or whatever he can think of. Whatever is going to propel him in that direction, he's going to do it because he is serious in the pursuit of sex. But is he serious in the pursuit of you? When you present your body parts first, you don't even give him a chance to get to know who you are. He probably don't even know what your face looks like. You got a big old mole in the middle of your forehead and he doesn't even know, because all he's been seeing is your... Okay. Because that's all you've been putting out there. So what else you want him to see? He don't care what you think. Y'all have never had a serious conversation. He don't care about your hopes and your dreams. He might know you got a job. He don't know where you work at. He might know when you in school. Did he know your major? I'm not saying you didn't tell him. Does he care enough to remember and to listen? Is he actively involved in your life? Or is it just a passive involvement until he gets what he came for and then it's time to move on? And see, so this is the test, sisters. This is when you need to step back and look and see what's going on around you. I just had a talk with my daughter yesterday because some boy trying to talk to her and tell me, when you come into my house. Not never, nigga. Not never. I told her, like I told y'all, don't even be behind closed doors with that man if you're not ready to go there. Don't set yourself up like that. And see, a lot of times you'll put out the bait, right? Thinking that, oh, he'll fall for my bait, but once he gets to know me, then he'll really like the real me. How's that worked out for you so far? Because if you really sit back and take a look at it, you haven't shared your life with anyone. You have not, for real. You may have offered it, but again, how many men thought enough of you to be an active participant in your life? Like, share, subscribe if you're on the YouTube. Turn on your notifications. What's up on IG land? Head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG MAGAD. Excuse me, y'all. I mean, and hear me. I'm not saying it's any easier when you're married. And to my single sisters, I think a lot of times y'all just look at married women and be like, oh, well, at least they have a husband, because that is the thing that you want so bad. And all praise to the Most High for husbands, especially good, strong, solid ones. But, ma'am, sis, cousin, if you in your single self are not whole, are not, sure, not steady, then a husband's not going to do you any good, because all you're going to do is spread your misery onto him, and y'all just both going to be sitting miserable there together. And until you are ready to come to terms with some truths about yourself, until you are ready to lay down your preconceived notions about yourself, the falsehoods that you keep to yourself to make yourself feel good about the wrong that you have done or the wrong that has happened to you in your life, until you're ready to lay that out, you're not going to be any good for anybody. I have a problem with people who have problems with the truth. And it's just becoming a theme at this time in this season in my life right now. It's just really a theme with people and the truth. And yes, biblical truth, but also personal truths in our lives. Um I want more than anything to be real with the Most High and real with myself. I cannot express to y'all like how much that is in my spirit, to just stop fronting, stop lying, and let's just tell the truth about everything and get it out there. We want to be the healed generation, but we still want to keep secrets and keep things in the dark. And it's not, that's not how this works. You're going to bury your issues until the next poor man comes along. And I only say poor man because he has no idea the dragons that you are wrestling with inside of you on a daily basis. He don't know. All he know is he think he meeting him a nice Israelite girl, a nice black girl. Y'all gonna go out and have fun. And you listen to all the dating gurus. So you know how to put on a front, and you know how to hee and kiki your way to the altar, or your way to an engagement ring, because apparently that's the stop for a lot of you guys. It's like, oh, I'm engaged, and that's it. So you kiki and hee and twirl your hair and bat your eyes until you get what you think you want from this man. And I was like, okay, I've arrived. Serve me. And this man had no idea what he was in for. But you're not ready to do the work to have a real relationship. Be honest with yourself. You're not ready to tell the truth. You're not ready to own who you really are. Listen, my girls are at the age where they confront me with stuff and we have real conversations. And they can, they're adults. They're very well able to articulate how the things that I have done made them feel, or how the things that I say made them feel. Now, sure, I could take the approach that a lot of our parents take and say, "Oh, I don't remember any of that. I have no idea what you're talking about." But I'm not going to have my kids walking around questioning their accuracy of their reality. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's something else. That is something else. But it makes it hard, you know, when people won't tell the truth. And when you won't be real with yourself. They call it a thirst trap for a reason, right? And I mean, think about it. Once you got what you came for, it's time to go. And that's what you're setting yourself up for this type of behavior when you put out these so-called thirst traps. And it's it's not beneficial to you, okay? Um it's like it's like signing up for um it's like signing up for an Olympic event and you've never played sports a day in your life. You're putting yourself out there. You're writing checks that your behind can't cash. Okay? Don't you don't understand what lurks behind screens. These dating apps, Instagram, TikTok, like you just don't know the dangers that lurk out there, and you don't know what you're attracting. Sure, you're thinking like, "Oh, I just want to meet somebody that's going to treat me nice." And when a woman on any normal day, and it's so crazy, right? Because this day and time that we live in of like double speak, where words don't mean what they used to mean and things don't mean what they used to mean anymore. Reality isn't reality anymore. Like, you cannot just assume that there are general truths that everyone acknowledges, because I forgot the example that I was going to put out. What was I going to put out? Okay, I know what I was going to say now. Okay. Um I don't know how many of y'all used to watch Cops back in the 90s, but I did. I loved Cops, right? It would come on Saturday. It was like 3 or 4 episodes back to back. Loved watching Cops. When you saw a woman on this show, um, and she was scantily clad, half dressed, you automatically assume this woman is a prostitute, right? Just an automatic assumption. Oh, look, she's on Cops. They're about to arrest her. She's half naked. She must be in for soliciting. And you would be right in your assumption, right? Of course. um, but so now, or right, a prostitute or on drugs. That's what I was gonna say too. But so now we live in a day and time where you and I could be watching this show and we both see this woman. And in my mind, oh, she's clearly a prostitute. She's a drug addict. But someone sitting right next to me will say, how you gonna make that assumption? You're wrong for judging her like that. Just because she looks like that doesn't mean that's what she is. And so now that voice that would prompt you to disconnect from reality, to deny what you're seeing with your own eyes, That voice is so loud now that you would put yourself on the internet and disconnect from the fact that people are gonna look at you and think that you're a whore. You'll be out at the mall and look at a man in a rundown pair of shoes and that nigga broke. He ain't got nothing. Look at him in them shoes. Ha 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 ha. But when a man looks at you with your butt cheeks hanging out and your cleavage hanging out and assumes that you're a whore, now he's wrong and he's judging you? How is that fair? Please help me out because I struggle with this question for a while. I have. It's been. And so we're at a day and time now, right, where everybody's mugshot gets posted pretty much. And there are just some people that you look at them and they've done something to someone, right? They've killed someone, they've stabbed someone, they've done something to someone, but you're looking at that picture and you're like, you didn't know this person was crazy? You felt comfortable going somewhere with this person? Are you looking at what I'm looking at? Right, but here we are. And this is what I'm saying. We need a reality check. It doesn't matter what the zeitgeist is saying. It doesn't matter what popular culture is saying. It doesn't matter, what your generation, what Generation Z wants to proclaim or what. None of that matters. What does the Bible say? What did the Creator say? Because just like you can't go in and just like the average person can't go in and just like take their television apart and reconfigure it, neither can you just change creation because you felt like you wanted to. You can't make yourself the opposite of what you are any more than I can turn myself into Paris Hilton right now today. Because if I had to be a white girl, it would probably be Paris Hilton. I'm just saying. It's just not possible. And see, you want to keep banking on the fact that you out here looking for a Hosea. You out here looking for a Hosea and you want to be Gomez. Wasn't that her name? You out here hoping that God is just going to tell some man to marry you while you out here in your whoredom. Because you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop. You're too used to the attention and you like what it brings. And you're complacent with these little trinkets and these little bags and these little shoes that these niggas bring you. You're complacent with that because you can't figure out how to get your name on a marriage license or the deed to a house. He'll lease you a car, but will he buy you one? Will he pay it off for you and put it in your name and give you the keys and never once look back and act, he's not going to take it back when you get mad? That's something, some permanence, something that you can pass on to your children. Y'all sitting up here getting excited about steak dinners. That's not what's up. And you got to understand something. That's what these hoes is settling for. I don't care how much the food costs. It's all just food. It's going to be released in the draft. After that food passes your taste buds, it is of no effect to you. You can't cash it in for anything. It is nothing. And that should tell you what that nigga think about you. Y'all get impressed with it. If he had the money to spend on a dinner, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Stop getting caught up in stupid stuff. Talk to a nigga with a mind. Find you a man that has a plan for his life. The one that's always studying, the one that's always working, the one that his car might be old, but he own that mug because he's trying to stack his money and work towards something. But no, you want to go with the flash of the pan, forgetting that all that glitters ain't gold and most of the time it's fake. You get caught up in wanting to feel like, oh, I want to be seen. I want to be outside. I want to have a hot girl. No, for what? Hot girl summer leads to lonely girl winter. Nobody is taking you seriously. Stop. Listen, I hate that we have been taught to like idolize celebrities. I hate that their life is presented to us as some kind of blueprint because things work differently with them. I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but ask around, like their world is different. You understand what I'm saying? Text me the time, Leah. I don't know the time. Their world is different. Things work different for them. So for if you claim to be a Bible believer, you claim to be trying to live by the Bible, then celebrity culture should not be your go-to example. That should not be where you look for, inspiration for anything. Hot girl summer and Lisa Lonely Girl. Oh, okay. It shouldn't, right? But y'all will look at these women. Oh, Meg got her man. Cardi's married. Nikki got married. I mean, you'll listen to this slut walk Amber Rose and hoes be winning. You'll listen to this crap. You'll look at women like Kim Kardashian. You'll look at these women and feel like, oh, this is what I need to be doing. This is it. This is the blueprint. This is how to win. But you don't know. I don't know if it's because you don't want to know, because these clips are certainly circulating the internet. But the times when these women get on here and say they feel trapped, they didn't know what they signed up for. There's a clip of Cardi B saying she hates the music that it does because it brings back things that she thought she had left in her old life. I mean, just think about how any woman feels when she gets married. Any woman that's happy to be married, you just want to be with your husband. Like, you don't want to do all that no more. You want to leave the streets alone. You don't care about no, you just want to be happy with your husband. But imagine literally having a collar around your neck. And a lot of y'all feel like, well, I don't care. They can put a collar around my neck as long as it's laced with millions of dollars, because you don't hold your soul in high regard at all. And I have no qualms about saying that to you, because I know right now, if I wanted to, if I did not regard my soul, I could go out here and open the If Juanita Bynum can get y'all to pay $1,500 for her to teach y'all how to pray, baby, please. Y'all paying thousands and $2,000 for these women to prophesy and lay hands on you, baby, please. I could run that scam I got the gift. I can do it. I've been in church all my life. I know how to hoop and holler and get you excited and prophesy to you. Call up an offering line, make you feel convicted if you don't give. Oh, the curse. You're robbing God. Man, please. It's too easy to run that scam. But y'all will do it because you do not regard your soul. So you don't care if the yoke of iron around your neck, it has a Louis Vuitton logo on it. You'll proudly wear it. You don't care if you're in shackles, as long as they're fur lined with Gucci. You'll wear them proudly and then brag to other people and put on the lights and put on the filters and make them feel like they need this too. You don't care about your soul. You don't care about the souls of people around you. And let's just bring it to your local community, okay? Ma'am, sis, cousin, even if you doing wrong and you misleading other women, you know what you're doing. You showing your body on social media. There are little girls looking up to that. There are other single women that are looking up to you, and they feel like, well, damn, if sis got to resort to this, what choice do I have? If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying, but I don't think that I am. And let me tell y'all something, even as a married woman, right? Because I'm cute. I'm cute. I keep my body together. I'm cute. I want to wear my little shirts. You know what I'm saying? I want to wear my leggings. But ask yourself, why would you feel compelled to show this to the world if it's just supposed to be between you and your husband? Okay. And ma'am, sis cousin, if you feel like you need some more attention from your husband, then talk to your husband. But you are not supposed to provoke your husband to jealousy. You are not. That is wrong. Do not provoke your husband to jealousy. You pray about that thing and you let the Most High work that out. But stop with the game playing, with the teasing. That's not the way to get the attention that you're looking for. Like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Advertisement. Look. Again, I get it. I totally understand. It's not easy trying to live right. So a single woman may look at a married woman and feel like, oh, you have it so easy. You think the devil don't be in my ear talking to me? Come on, girl, you smart. You can go out here and have a career. You supposed to be a doctor. You could have been a surgeon by now. You can have this. You can have that. You ain't got to listen to this nigga. Who he think he talking to? Why is he trying you like this all the time? Why he trying you like you small? Right? I mean, okay, the temptation is real. It don't get easier just because you're married. It's just a different area for you to be tempted in. I can't be tempted in the area of sex anymore because I can have all the sex I want with my husband. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the temptation. I don't get tempted by not having someone around. I have a husband. You know what I'm saying? He came to eat for exactly. Hello? Exactly. So it's not that, oh, you're married now, so you don't have struggles. Oh no, ma'am, sis cousin. We have struggles. They're just in a different area now. Okay? Listen, to my married sisters, I listen, for all of us that get up every day and make an honest effort to be good servants to the Most High, good helpmeets to our husband, good mothers to our kids, bravo to us, okay? Bravo to us. No, seriously, because we don't get it enough. It's not what's applauded in this world. If anything, we're told that, pouring all into our family is wrong, and all that's gonna happen is our husband's gonna up and leave us, and we're stupid, and how dumb can we listen? I have heard it all. It can be nonstop bombardment, and then the job of being a wife, the job of being a mother, it is rewarding, but it is not rewarding in the sense that we are conditioned to believe is the best. You understand what I'm saying? We're conditioned to believe that the best way to be compensated for any kind of effort that we put out is money. That's really the only compensation that we're conditioned to recognize in this capitalistic society that we live in. How can I make money off of anything? My hobbies, my life, my mind, my body. How can I make money off of this thing, right? So we're not taught to cherish the closeness, the relationship that you could possibly have, the experience. Like, just you're not taught to value watching your children grow up. You're not taught to value toiling and working beside your husband. You're not taught to value that. Thank you, sis. You're taught that that's not important. And in fact, you're a fool for opting for that. But it's so funny that, they'll talk down about housewives and women who are standing beside their husband to work with them to build these businesses, but they'll still idolize men like Rockefeller, like Kissinger, who's the steel guy? I don't remember, but they'll idolize all these American titans of industry, not realizing that all these men were married and all their wives were at home with the children. So, and again, here's the disconnect from reality that we live in, right? Because we'll look at these people's lives and we'll study them and we'll see that a lot of most of the reason, probably all of the reason that these men were able to be so successful and so focused on their business is because they had a wife at home and they didn't have to worry about that. They didn't have to worry about the kids. They didn't have to cut a meeting short to pick Sally up from school. They didn't have to get home to make dinner. They didn't have to do any. They were able to stay and focus on the business at hand. Everybody cannot be working on the same part of the project at the same time. We all can't be building the front door to the house. Who's going to build the rest of the house? You so busy wanting everybody to see what you're doing. You and him standing there painting the front door and nothing is left of the house. And listen, you may be feeling like, oh my God, it's not fair. It feels like I have to take a back seat. It feels like I'm always pushing myself to the back. It feels like I'm always dumbing myself down to fill this role. And I know that it's not fair, but the only reason you think that it's not fair is, again, because you've been conditioned to think that you can actually compete and be equal with your husband. That's why you think it's not fair. Again, the disconnect from reality. You don't want to accept the fact that girls and boys are different. You don't want to accept the fact that this man is your head. And you signed up for that when you married him, in whatever condition you married him. Whatever condition. Poor or wealthy, sick or healthy, physically and mentally. You may want to say, oh, this is 2023 and my marriage don't run like that. Whatever. You're not the one who created marriage. You can't decide how it works. You don't get to decide that. You stood before God and your family and said, I vow to do this, and that. You stand before God and your family. I'm a woman of God. I believe in the Bible. I'm an Israelite. I'm in the truth. I'm this, I'm that. You proclaim to live by this standard out of your mouth. And then think that you're not going to have to answer for when you don't? The disconnect from reality. You don't want to accept who you are. Wives, you see you making your family miserable. Get your attitude in check. We go through so many hormonal changes. You need to recognize that. You need to stop blaming everybody else. So it just may be your health. And that is something that you have to get on top of. Ma'am, sis, cousin, put the Uber down. Put the Uber down. Go get you a vegetable, a carrot, a smoothie. Put the burgers down. Put the chicken down. Back up from the fridge. Go for a walk. Do some jumping jacks. You'd be surprised how much diet and exercise affects your mood, your mentality, everything. Back away from the thing that is causing you misery and disappointment. Back away from it. Back away from them people in your life who never have anything good to say. And they only want to point out what you and your husband doing wrong, or what you and your husband is struggling with, or what they perceive to be missing. Back away from them. They're only going to keep you trapped in that place where you continue to doubt yourself. Get on your knees, talk to the Most High, and then partner up with your husband, and y'all do what y'all gonna do. Y'all put your nose on the grindstone and get the work done. And next thing you know, when you look up, they're gonna be coming to you asking you for advice. They're gonna have to eat their words. They're gonna be trying to sit in your class, trying to figure out how y'all did what y'all did. It's like, well, we've been doing, we just been doing it. We've been working. We've been telling y'all. We told y'all. We've had these conversations with you guys. We've offered this information. But see, you be so worried about everybody else. And then 5-10 years from later, you're going to be sitting in the crowd with everybody else. I'm just saying. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I'm on my new YouTube today at Miss Mono World. Excuse me, Miss Mono's World. How can I forget my own name? So follow me on all your socials at Miss Mono's World, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube now. Thank you in advance. Tell a friend, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So yeah, like it's hard being a woman and coming into this truth and realizing your role, because it's so different from what you've been taught, right? It's so different from what being a woman is presented as, because think about it. You're not really, we're taught to grow up and get jobs. Grow up and get jobs. You're not really, the emphasis is not on what specifically you bring to the family unit. What do I mean by that? All right. Okay, I used to work for an insurance company, right? And I did claims. I worked in a claims department. We made sure people got paid for their services. That's what we did. There's a whole nother department for customer service. There's a whole nother section of people that answer the phones when people call. There's a whole nother section of people that take the mail and open it and send it to where it needs to go. Okay. And I'm saying this, there are different people to handle different things, because one person can't do everything, and it is inefficient to have too many people doing the same thing at the same time. So what I'm saying is, if you, woman, will not stay in your department, who's going to be doing your job? Because as much as we like to say, oh, fathers can be just as good a mothers as mothers, we all know that that's some bull. They're not meant to be mothers. They're not going to be. Listen to me. I can tell the difference, because when my son falls and hurts himself, the only response from dad is, get up, you all right. My response is a little more. One time, Atticus jumped off a bouncy house, and this thing is like almost 6 feet off the ground. Like, if my husband stands next to it, it's probably like up to his shoulder. Okay. And he jumped off, and the front of his foot smacked the concrete in the garage. Okay. Now, I was asleep when this happened, right? Nobody woke me up. There was no panic. And my baby was crying. Nobody came and nobody did anything. Okay. So I wake up in the morning and I see my child foot all bruised and swollen. What is going on? How come nobody told me what happened? Thank God it was nothing. But I'm just saying that to show you the difference in responses. And I've read stories where women have had to like fight their husbands to get them to take the child to the hospital, and that wound up saving the child's life. Because as a man, his job is not to be focused on the children. His job is not to watch the kids' patterns of behavior and know if something is off. His job is not to monitor injuries and bug bites for swelling and something. That's not his job. His job is to be focused on the finances and providing for your family. And then as soon as he's not doing that, you're going to be wondering why. Well, because he got to clean up the house and take care of the kids. He can't, his mind cannot be on the anything else because his home is ravaged. Who, I don't understand how y'all live in the filth and why you expect someone else to live in that filth. You know, it's kind of you can kind of understand now why a lot of men are asking, well, what do women bring to the table? What do women bring to the table? Because we've been convinced that our part of our contribution to the family unit should be the same contribution as him. We're convinced that we should be doing the same things our husbands are doing. And if everybody's doing the same thing again, when is the other stuff getting done? You've been conditioned to believe that you should be doing exactly what your husband is doing, and you just happen to have babies. You just happen to have babies every, a few years whenever you feel like having one. But other than that, you're supposed to it does not make any sense. And I know it's not popular. You're not going to get a lot of support for that opinion. That's going to require you to stand on your own 2 feet and say, no, this is what me and my family are doing. Even in the face of your siblings and relatives and people who, you thought loved you and all this other good stuff. Even to them, you're going to have to stand up and say, like, no, this is the choice that me and my family are making. We want something different. I want something more than what I see in front of me now. I want something more than I've been shown from my parents and from those that have come before me. And listen, you're going to make people uncomfortable when you start reaching for more than they have, because then it's going to cause them to look at themselves and question themselves. They're going to start looking at themselves, especially if they've not reached that point in their life where they're ready to be honest with themselves. They're going to start looking at themselves and wondering what's wrong with them, why they don't match up. Why are you trying so hard? What's wrong with her? Why is she doing so much? They're going to say that about you. She always with her husband. Duh. They don't never do nothing. They don't never come hang out with us. You always up your husband's behind. Where else am I supposed to be? If I wanted to hang around with y'all all the time, then I would have stayed single, right? If I wanted to sit around and commiserate, then I would have stayed single and commiserated with y'all. They're not going to let you go that easy, be it single or married. Once you decide to make a change, once you decide to kick it up to the next level, once you decide to submit to the growth that the Most High is trying to take you to, it's not going to be easy. They're not going to let you stay around them and change. So you got to decide, am I going to run for my life or am I going to stay here and die? That's literally what it is. And ma'am, sis cousin, when you present yourself as a whore, when you present yourself as loose, you're basically, the Bible talks about The feet of a loose woman lead men to hell. Okay, and this is something I really want y'all to consider because again, the disconnect from reality. We don't consider the consequences of our actions. We feel like, oh, because we proclaim Christ, because we read our Bible, because, we do this or we do that, that even when we play the part of a whore, the things of a whore do not pertain to us. And I'm here to tell you that when you put yourself in a whore's place, the things of a whore now pertain to you. So all the warnings about being with adulterous women, being with whores, how they will mislead you, how they are so enticing, but their end is destruction. All of that applies to you now. And so, what kind of man, what kind of, why would God allow any decent kind of man to be entwined with you? Why would he want to make himself a whore? Because that's what happens when you get with whores, you make yourself one. So, why would he want to do that? See, you want people to live in a fantasy world that you live in where, you know, people don't mind turning hoes into housewives and, he's going to see through me and it'll be like the movies, which is why I hate freaking rom-coms, especially Tyler Perry movies. Oh, he's going to see the God in me. He's going to see that I'm really a Christian, underneath all of this. No. See, because what other people with common sense do is look at you and make an assessment based on how you present yourself. That's what you're supposed to do. Just because you fail to do that and wind up getting with losers doesn't mean that other people are going to forego their common sense. People got stuff to lose out here. You seen him walking around with his pants half down, clothes too big and or too small. Or you seen him in that flashy car and you didn't bother to ask no questions, huh? You seen him and he looked like he was dripped out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance. You met him at the club. You knew you ain't had no business there. But you gonna y'all want to take a fish out of fish tank and expect it to live on dry land. No, the fish is gonna want to go back in that fish tank. You can take a nigga out the club, but if that nigga, he's gonna go back. We're out here trying to write our own destinies instead of just being obedient. And listen, some of us have just been disobedient for so long that we got to realize, listen, it's going to take some time for God to deal with me, to get this stuff out of my life and to reset me on the path that I'm supposed to be on. We just got to realize that. Stop comforting yourself with lies. I don't like for people to say, oh, well, this must have been meant to happen. No, my nigga, you was in sin. You were in sin. I don't think God ever meant for me to be a stripper. I don't think that was his intention. I'm pretty darn sure that was never his intention. So what I'm not about to do is sit here and comfort y'all and y'all saying, talk about, oh, well, God meant for you to be doing it. No, ma'am, sis cousin. No, we're not going to play them games. No, I was out there wilding. This is where I ended up. God, please help me. I'm ready to repent. But y'all don't want to talk to yourself like that. Sometimes you got to talk mean to yourself. You can't always talk nice to yourself. You got to talk mean to yourself sometimes because if you don't, life will. Life will. And she going to come with a 1-2 punch, okay? But we don't want to accept our reality. You don't want to accept the fact that your attitude is nasty. You don't want to accept the fact that you're doing your baby daddy wrong. You don't want to accept the fact that you really don't try as hard as you could. You really don't give it your all. You really don't put your best foot forward. You really are kind of an asshole. And I'm not saying that it always has to be like a negative realization. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm funny. Okay. My husband sometimes feels like I'm corny. But the people who don't know me as much tend to think that I'm funny too. You know what I'm saying? I'm funny. I get that about myself. So I'm not saying, oh, just sit there and beat yourself down. I'm this, and make yourself miserable with everything that's wrong with you. No, be aware of what's good about you too. So this is what you put forward. You know you funny, crack a joke. Use that to, to break the ice. You know you're creative, focus on that. You like to draw, you like to make clothes. Your gifts, people talk about your gifts and making room for you. That don't just mean financially. That could be the avenue to meet the man you've been waiting for. This could be the avenue to so many other opportunities, but you're so busy worrying about what you don't have, you won't focus on what you do have. You won't focus on the gifts and the talents in front of you. You're so busy worried about why you can't ball out and why you not this and why you can't afford a BBL and why this and why that, that you won't focus on the fact that people love your cakes and people love when you cook. And I'll be careful when I say cakes. I mean baked goods. I mean baked goods, okay, y'all? Okay. Angelina Shalom says, that's like using some more of my noise thing. You don't focus on that. Every time you bring something to an event, everybody asking you, oh, you gonna make another one? When you gonna make another one? Make me one. So you too busy worried about, oh, why I don't have friends, why I don't have a husband. You won't get on social media, bake them cakes live, record yourself, cook. You won't focus on that and let that. See, when we ask God for answers, we be wanting the answer packaged, neatly tied up, very simple. Open the box. Here are the instructions. Here you go. You want everything in front of you, not realizing that sometimes the answer just comes in the form of an opportunity. Sometimes the answer comes in the form of, hey, you want to come to the movies with me? Hey, you want to check this out? Hey, I'm doing it. The answer is, listen, we are just like misled a lot of times. I feel like as former patrons of the Black church that we are a lot of times led by emotionalism, as opposed to logic, intellectualism, and common sense. And what I mean by that is we will, name it and claim it and feel like we can tithe an offering our way to where we want to be financially, when the very simple fact of the matter is if you get up and work, that's the answer. You've been sitting on your idea for years now. You've been sitting on that project for years. You've been looking at this gift for years. Opportunities have come and go. People have reached out to you and asked you. And you kept lollygagging, kept, as my aunt would say, pussyfooting around, taking your time. And now the person who was there to do the work is living the life that you feel like you should be living. And you may be right, but you weren't willing to do the work. And so, yes, start today. But now you got You're going to have to deal with the pain of not starting. Like, you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to face that. You're going to have to acknowledge that. Like, yeah, man, I should have started this years ago. I was playing. You're going to have to live with that. It's going to come back to haunt you. But do not get discouraged. You know how many different brands of bread there are at the grocery store? How many different brands of soda? How many different brands of everything? Do not get discouraged, because there are people who are looking for just your voice. Everybody's not going to respond. They might not respond to the next influencer, but you may just be the one they've been looking for. So the reality is, the more time you waste moping, the more money that you lose. Because what my husband has made me understand about money, the money you have today is only as good as the money you have tomorrow, or something like that. But either way, it means get the money every day, because if you let it go, it's going to be gone. Today is May 18th. Whatever money you didn't make today, you're not going to get that back, because this time don't come back. Time don't come back. You can't be broke May 31st and be like, dang, I wish I'd have made that $500 on May 18th. That's not how it works. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's so true. I have a few customers, they say they wouldn't trust no one else with their credit. All praise you. And it's like that. When you find your gift, people will respond to you in your gift. All in God's time. There are things you have to learn. Listen, when we first started to print doctors, there was weeks when we didn't have no orders. And the orders we was getting was like little 10 shirts, 5 shirts. You know what I'm saying? One little simple stuff, but we were just starting. I remember my husband going to pick up the machine and taking to classes, which he was just complaining about the whole time. Like, I remember all this. I remember watching him sit there and try to figure this out. Going to YouTube University, calling and, asking for advice, trying to see who he could teach him this and teach him that. And now got a 750 shirt order, and that's not even the largest order that we've seen. But we didn't just start the print doctors on Monday and getting 1,000 shirt orders on Tuesday. That's not how that happened. This took years to build up. It was years of him out working, networking, talking to people, handing out flyers, handing out cards. It was years of me sitting at home by myself with the kids, cooking, cleaning, trying to make sure that everything was comfortable for him for when he came back from dealing with the world, so he could be comfortable in his home. It was years of no nail appointments, no hair appointments. It was years of getting the 99-cent hair product when you can't. It was sometimes of no hair product, and you better just take this water and make it work. You gotta pay these dues. You gotta have a testimony. If nothing ever happened to me, if I never went through nothing, then what would I be up here talking to y'all about? What would I be telling you about? Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you nothing. I'd just be sitting there like, well, I don't know what's wrong with you, but everything worked out perfectly for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be relatable. And again, I'm not saying this to justify sin, because I know a lot of people like to use that to justify sin. Oh, well, I needed to have a testimony. You didn't have to sin to get your testimony, ma'am, sis, cousin. Life itself is a testimony. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to sin for a testimony. Stop telling that lie. There's beauty in the struggle. It is King Connect. Shalom and Shalom. It is. So let's talk about this new wave, right? Because it's a new wave of, I perceive most of them to be angry. They be loud. They be aggressive. So In my personal experience as a human being, when I see another human being talking in a loud and aggressive manner, they are usually angry. So, most of these women that I see that are saying that, oh, being a stay at home mom isn't a privilege, being a housewife isn't a privilege, they're usually talking loud and angry. Okay. And so the new wave is being a woman of leisure. Like, I shouldn't have to be a stay at home mom. I shouldn't have any responsibilities. You should have staff to cook and clean. I should just be able to just be. That's the new wave right now. That's what this new sect of dating gurus is prescribing. I I I can't imagine the level of hurt that you have to be at to expect someone to just have you around them and you're not adding any benefit to their life at all. And you want to be like, oh, well, I'll be there to talk to him. Listen, it's different from being there to talk to him and actually being out there doing it with him. There was time what the Falcons was on winning a championship or something. Me and my husband out there at the dome selling shirts. Yes, I was right out there with him. How am I going to sit back and let my husband go out here and work by himself when I have the ability to help? Now, I'm not talking about to the neglect of my children. It was a Sunday. My older kids were home. The babies were fine. Okay. But we had these shirts that we had printed, and here's an opportunity to get some money. What we gonna do? How do I sit back and expect him to go out and work and just bring it home and call myself any kind of help me? Y'all not concerned with being a help me. You don't know what the definition of a wife is. You don't know what it means to work with someone, to partner with someone. And even in the physical struggle, there's an emotional component that's there. You look and we'll look at older people who've been in love for a long time and be like, oh, that's beautiful. I want that. But you're not willing to put the work into it. What connection could you possibly have with someone who just sits in the house all day and expects you to be at their every whim? What kind of connection do you expect to have, Mams's cousin, when you're constantly manipulating and playing games? And then you wonder why you're so insecure in your marriage because you're not adding anything to it. You've made this man's life nothing but a burden since you've entered it. You won't get up and clean. You won't get up and take care of your kids that ain't even his. You just want somebody to keep a roof over your head so you can slump around all your life. But you wouldn't want that. And let me just say, it's not okay for women to do it either. And so, for anyone that may have a misconception about being a stay at home mom and feeling like somehow it's not work, oh, baby, it's work. It is work, just like a job. It's just like a job. Okay. You have expectations, you have responsibilities. But unlike a job, when I go to take my break, I can take my break and go in my kitchen, in my refrigerator, and get whatever I want to eat and put it in the microwave and go sit in front of my TV and watch whatever I want to watch. And ain't nobody telling me I got to be back nowhere in 15 minutes. I don't have to ask nobody when I can use the bathroom. I don't have to wait for a break to use the bathroom. If I decided I want to ignore that laundry today, well, then the laundries get ignored. And unless my husband has a complaint about it, which he doesn't, because I'm sure he's good. You know what I'm saying? So people are conditioning young women to run from being a wife and a mother as if it isn't a step up from working a job. I'm sorry, no shade to my sisters who work, okay? That's not what this is about. But in defense of the women who work at home, we work. I don't, I don't know. Look, sir, you said a mouthful right there. That is freedom. And see, this is what we don't understand what freedom really is. Freedom is I can get up and do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't have to wait for my 15-minute break to go to the bathroom. I don't have to hurry up in the bathroom because somebody waiting on me to clock back in. I'm not struggling to eat my food in 30 minutes to get back to my desk. I'm gonna take my time and sit here and eat. And I'm gonna binge a couple of shows. Yes, I'm home with my baby. Yes, the baby keep me up in the middle of the night. But guess what? I can put this baby to sleep and kick my feet up and watch what I want to watch and take me a nap. What is I don't understand what got y'all in a chokehold with having these careers over being home with your family. Now, I'm on my lunch break right now. All praises. That's what I'm talking about. What is so alluring about, listen, you're going to have to answer to somebody in life, ma'am, sis, cousin. Be it your husband, the boss man, you're going to have to answer to somebody. So why not answer to the person who also has your best interests at mind? Why not be answering to the person that loves you as they love themselves? Why not be answering to the person who God put over you, who also is keeping the same concerns in their mind that you have, who's also concerned about your children? Because if you go to the boss man and say, my baby's sick, I need to take him to the doctor, he's going to tell you, well, you need to find somebody else because I need you here at work. But when I go to my husband and say, hey, I'm really worried about the baby, I think we need to take him to the doctor, all he's going to say is, oh, okay, come on, let's go. Or if he's working, all right, call me, keep me posted. Ain't gonna be nothing else. I'm not gonna have to fight or struggle. I can't wait to be able to live that life. Oh, listen. Yes, I work. I'm telling y'all, yes, like I've been printing shirts. But when I'm done printing them shirts, I start when I want to start and I finish when I want to finish. Okay? When I'm exhausted, I stop. Nobody's sitting there cracking a whip over me, telling me that I gotta stand there for 8 hours and keep working. No, ma'am, sis, cousin, that's not what happened. And I guarantee you, I made more money in a week, probably 2 weeks, standing here for these hours printing these shirts than you did at that job. And you still gotta ask somebody when you can go to the bathroom. You still got to report. So you got to sit through these stupid, mundane meetings and hearing these people pontificate endlessly, wasting your time. But somehow this is the goal. This is preferred over being home with your children and watching them grow. And please listen to me, okay? I didn't get to do this with my oldest daughters. I didn't get to be here with them. Man, my oldest daughter took her first steps at daycare. Someone else got to hear their first words. Somebody else got to be with them every day. But with my sons, I've been here with them every day of their life. They took their first steps with me. I taught them how to crawl. I heard their first words. I was with them every day, sick and well. And the times when they were sick, wasn't nobody pressuring me to do nothing. My husband was sitting. I remember Paxton got a cold really bad to the point where I had to sit up with him. I couldn't let him lay down. We had to sit up with him and just, keep patting his back to keeping it loose. I had the humidifier right there. And my husband was right there by me the whole time. I don't get what's so alarm. Listen, the world can scream your name, but what good is it if the people in your own house don't love you, don't admire you? Say this again, sis. Career equals slavery. I don't care how they try to sugarcoat. How is it not slavery? The only difference between having a career in slavery is the fact that now you pay for your own room and board. You get to choose where you live. You don't have to settle for the shacks in the back of the plantation. Now you can pay an obscene amount to live in whatever part of town you want. And hear what I'm saying by obscene, it's relatively obscene. Because if you're poor, you're not going to be able to afford it. And even if you think you're doing all right, you may barely be able to afford it. Someone tells you when to be at work. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, they don't tell me when to wake up. But yes, they do. Because if they're telling you that you have to be to work at 6 o'clock, you have to figure out what time to wake up so you can be there when they tell you to be there. And you have to work until they say that you can stop and eat. What, you get 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute or an hour lunch? They tell you what you can and can't wear, what you can and can't say, how you can and can't look. When you can't come and go. Yeah, they're not whipping your back anymore, but they'll call you in the office and write you up and threaten your livelihood. So you're forced to conform or face homelessness and depravity, basically. But y'all don't want to call it slavery. They never abolished slavery. They just spread it to more people. Now everyone can participate. And it's less of a cost on the slave master because, hey, I'm going to give you this set amount and then you figure out how to live your life with that. And nobody's going to make me give you an amount that's, nobody's going to force me to pay you I don't like to use the word fair, but a reasonable amount to make sure that you can live at a certain level. And I don't understand why we can't realize what's going on here. These CEOs rake in millions of billions of dollars and stay paying the working people pennies on those dollars. But when the union comes to complain, or when when it's time for insurance, it's always, oh, the budget, the budget, the budget. You can fit everybody in this company in your house probably 2 times. What budget? But we won't look our overlords in the mouth and realize what it is. They don't want you to want to be at home with your kids. Okay, and this, you can't keep the feast days on most jobs, but they will let you keep their pagan holidays. You can get Easter off, but they don't care about Passover. You can get Christmas off, but they don't care about Feast of Dedication. They're not concerned with your Feast of Tabernacles. They're not concerned with they're not concerned with none of that. But they'll give you their pagan days off. You can take their New Year's off. They don't care about your biblical New Year. But that's not slavery. And I think, see, here's the problem. We have been miseducated on just how overreaching slavery was, right? Because we feel like that, we've settled into this life. This how we are, this culture that we existing, we feel like that this was something that we created, since slavery. These pieces of our behavior have been coming together to create what we have in front of us as Black culture right now. And I came to tell you that that is a lie. We weren't allowed to create a culture in slavery. Think about it. When were we allowed to gather unsupervised? Everything, the legit things that we picked up from slavery were about protection. You know how they talk about Black people laugh with their bodies because we weren't allowed to laugh out loud? We talk about Black men leaving their families because they used to be forced to have sex blindfolded just to breed. They never knew who they were sleeping with. But we won't talk about, we won't look at how it totally consumed our lives. It totally consumed the way we were living before we became enslaved, to the fact that we don't remember it anymore. Even more so that now that even though we are trying to keep the law, we still can't get it right. Even in our own efforts, we are still just rehearsing the righteous acts. But yet and still, we will constantly stand up every day and pledge allegiance to these same descendants of these same slave masters. That's what they are. I don't know why no one wants to acknowledge that. Haven't we all figured out that all the presidents are related? They all share a bloodline. Haven't we figured this out already? But when they look at you and say, "Oh, that wasn't me. I didn't do it." Listen, if your mama had beef with my mama, I'ma have beef with you. I don't know. It's like our enemy understands this, but we've been so beat down by Americanized Christianity that we just want to believe that everyone is good and we can love everybody. And my only loyalty is to my brothers and sisters in Christ, no matter what they've done to me before. What? When a Muslim man will tell you, nah, it's not, I've never seen, I've never seen a group of people be so uh deceived as to embrace, accept, and encourage their own destruction. It's only us. Only we will embrace, vote for, give money to people who have proven for centuries upon centuries to only that their only goal is our destruction. These people have proven it to us time and time again. Okay, no matter how much of a oh, they do. A lot of people love that. They do. They idolize the oppressor. They do. And you listen, no matter how much of a Black bourgeoisie exists in this country, your average everyday Black behind is is a victim is a victim of this place. You're not a citizen of this place. You are a victim of the circumstances of the existence of this country. Because if you had not, if your great grandmother had never been kidnapped, or excuse me, your great grandfather, because that's where the seed comes from. If your great grandfather had never been kidnapped and brought over here, or whatever island they were dropped in, or whatever European country they were dropped in, your life would not be what it is today. We would not live the way we live today. The things that are acceptable among us would not be acceptable. I had the pleasure of watching a YouTube video, and it was breaking down how modern day Black American culture is nothing but slavery slavery time culture of redneck Europeans. What do I mean by that? If you look at the behavior of the poor classes in Europe, this is the same behavior that you see among poor Black people today. The aggression, the loose sexuality, the laziness, the boisterousness for no reason. All of these behaviors were in place when we were brought to this country. And see, what we're not taught is, when we were first brought here, there were poor white people who were fighting for our freedom as well, because for a time, like indentured servants, you understand what I'm saying? So they never experienced chattel slavery. That's not what I'm saying. Please do not misquote me. I am not saying that. Okay. But what I'm saying is I'm assuming, putting myself in that place, they could relate a little bit, having been indentured servants. Like, yeah, nah, these rich white people is tripping. You know what I'm saying? You had class unity. All right. It's poor white people, poor Black people willing to come together. All right. So now that helps you see how that transference of that culture is very much possible. And the fact of the matter is, if you look around today at some what we would consider rednecks, hillbilly stuff like that, they still display this same behavior. It's just that we're Black and we live in projects, so it just looks different. I might not have a moonshine set up, in my backyard, but it's a liquor store in every corner. I might not go out to my farm and roll me up some tobacco, but it's a package store in every corner. I can go and get what I can go get what I want. The loose sexual morality, the overwhelming amount of single mothers. Sure, they like to put your Black face on it, because anything that you put a Black face on, the world tends to follow after. Why? Because we are Judah. We're Judah. People want to be like us. We got the flavor. We got the sauce. I mean, listen, I'm gonna assume I'm part Judah, okay? It ain't Black versus white. It's really always been good versus evil. Okay, yes, only in that Black and white is a current construct. That was something that was put in place, very recently with that. Before that, we were dealing with nations. So facts. All right, but so I wanted to do this reality check, and I don't know, because I feel like I want to just talk to y'all more. Like, I feel like I don't want to really be tied down with like a main topic. We'll just see. Like, however the Lord moves for that week, that's what we'll do. But man, I just want to encourage y'all, especially, my single sisters, y'all here trying to live right, trying to hold on. Your phone dry, you ain't getting no text, your DM dry. Listen, sis, stay focused. Like, keep your head, find you a hobby, find you something to keep you busy and encouraged. This is the time to invest in yourself. Find out what you like. And I know what you're saying. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to get that loneliness off your mind. Like, I get it. But what I'm saying is, don't sit there and focus on it, because then that becomes the big picture. You're so focused on what you don't have that you're not focusing on what you do have around you. Every guy that you go out with, it doesn't have to be a romantic interest. It could be some dudes that you're just cool with. Y'all want to go out and kick it and have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with having male friends. It's up to you, ma'am, sis cousin, to set the boundaries. Would he smash if you let him? Probably. Probably. And he's not wrong for that. Did you think he was gay? So you set the boundaries for that relationship. They're going to go as far as you let them go. They're men. It's the nature of the beast, okay? It's up to you to say, no, this is it. It's up to you to conduct yourself in a respectable manner. It's up to you to carry yourself in a manner that is beyond reproach. You don't want anybody to be able to say anything bad about you as much as you can help it. Stop, don't put yourself in crazy situations. Stop going to these niggas' houses. Stop jumping in their cars before you know them. Listen, know what you want for your life and don't be afraid to pursue that. And also don't be afraid to leave anyone behind that is not going to be beneficial to that. Who's not going to help you move in that direction. You don't need, you're just wasting time. Phone dried internet, but that is okay. Listen, that's okay. All right. Especially if you talking about you want to be married and you want to be a wife and all this other stuff. You gotta get used to your phone not going off. My phone don't never go off. Never. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I feel like you shouldn't have a bunch of unnecessary, unbeneficial, unimportant people around anyway, because your husband gonna come in and clean house more than likely. He not gonna be cool with you, hanging out with dudes, talking to dudes on the phone like that one child. So it's okay. Don't look, everybody goes for the low hanging fruit. When you display yourself in a sexual manner, you are appealing to the lowest common denominator in the room. You are appealing to the thing that everyone, every man of every background, unless he's gay, is going to go after. How are you setting yourself apart if you just got yourself flayed open like a pair of sneakers at the flea market? How are you any different? How are you any different when I could just walk in the library and use the computer whenever I want to? Why should I value this? It ain't mine. Everybody can use it. Anybody can have it. Why do I care about this? And I know it's women out here calling themselves giving game, how to have sex and still be dominant, or how to run game on niggas and all this other stuff. But ma'am, sis, cousin, if it's on the internet and you can hear it, guess who else can hear it? And don't think these men don't be listening. They do. They do. So guess what? They know what you're gonna say, and they know what you expect them to say. They already know. Like, oh, she wants some money. Okay. And depending on how they feel about you, they'll throw you a couple of dollars. And when they're ready to ghost you for a woman that they can take seriously, who can actually have an intellectual conversation, who's interested in partnering with them and being a helpmeet, when they find her and they ghost you, now you're going to be on the internet talking about how all men are dogs and they don't want nothing. They just want to have sex and use you up. No, don't you tell that lie. That's what you offered. Y'all be want to do a bait and switch. And that's illegal. Like Macy's cannot advertise freaking Gucci Guilty for $15 an ounce. And then I get there and they want to mark the price up to 30, but that's what y'all be doing. You set yourself out like you're a whore, but then when a man come, you want to act like you're so pure and chaste. Ma'am, that's not, no. You baited me with a whore and I came for a whore. If I wanted a wife, then that's what I would have went to. Same thing with y'all. When a man gets you out on a date, you get in his car, it's all nice, it's all leather, everything's, ooh, this is really nice. Not knowing he about to have that repo, but you get in there and you get to the restaurant and it's all nice and ooh, they got cloth napkins and look at all this, and y'all run up the tab and then he be like, ooh, I forgot my wallet. Can you pay? And you're in shock. Like, this is not what this is not what I was expecting. Same thing you did. Same thing you did. You put yourself out there like a whore and then try to get your man, get the man to make you a wife. You came for a whore, you came for a whore. No man's going to a bawdy house. Listen, bawdy house. That's from this show I was watching. A whore house, let's call it that. A house of ill repute looking for a wife. Nobody's going there. Nobody's searching your thirst traps on IG looking for a wife. Nobody's looking at your ass all oiled up and pushed up in the mirror and thinking, wow, she looks like she would raise some great children. That is not what's going on at all. I talked to my husband. And some of y'all may say too candidly, okay, because he be telling me some stuff and I be like, sir, hold on. But I'd rather him talk to me than me not have any idea, what he's thinking, what he's doing, what he's seeing. I know he sees other women he would be blind not to. But I'd rather him talk to me and be like, ooh, look at her ass, than to be sitting there thinking it himself and now his mind is going and he can't stop it. At least if we talking about it, I can be like, yeah, damn, she got a big ass. But anyway, and now we can keep it moving. But the man can't even talk to you. You think he looking at somebody else and you ready to bite his head off. You totally forgot about being his friend once you became his wife. That's it. I'm no longer your friend. You cannot relate to me on a human level. I am your queen and you should always serve me. And then when he start stepping out on you, you want to know why. You've turned into an authority figure. You've turned into another mom for him. You're not his friend. He can't hang with you. He can't kick it with you. You're not going to watch a game with him. You're not going to sit at the bar with him. You're not going to do none of that. If it's not what you want the way you expect it to be, then you want no parts of it. And that's wrong. We're going to talk about that later too, the switch up. You can't do that. Listen, if you are not following me on all of the socials, except for the Twitter, I'm not on the Twitter, but the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram, I am at Miss Mono's World. Please join me. Like, share, subscribe to the YouTube, comment, do all that good stuff. The head of the house of Mono, the man who makes this all possible, Monologue and Dad. I don't just say that because he's my husband. He's just so wonderful. Just hold on. The latest album. Make sure you stream that. I'm an Apple Music girl myself. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, whatever you are streaming on. Don't forget, we have some litters dropping soon. Shalom, Tanya. How you doing, girl? Shalom and shalom. We have some litters dropping soon here at Mono's Westside Bullies. One of my faves. Stormy, I love Stormy as a dog. I don't love her as a mother. She's a horrible dog mommy. Zelda's a good dog mommy. Stormy is a horrible dog mommy. So join me as I have to deal with Stormy and her babies. Follow the doggies at Mono's Westside Bullies, but of course you can also see them at Miss Mono's World. Listen, if you ever just cannot get to the YouTube for some reason and you just do not want to miss why Boaz don't want your ass, you can watch me live Thursdays on Nasaya TV. That's right. That's right. I'm live there right now every Thursday at 8 o'clock, Nasaya TV. It is on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your streaming television devices. Hold on. What else? Yes, if you feel led to give to keep the lights, cameras, action going around here, please. The Cash App is $ the House of Mono. We thank you in advance for that. I hope that something I said today was helpful. More than anything else, I just wanted to encourage you, single sisters and married sisters alike, because it's a struggle, right? And even when you're having to deal with worldly influences, not just in the dating pool. And listen, just because we're married doesn't mean that our husbands don't see what's on the internet. Okay. It doesn't mean that our husbands don't see the thirst traps. Like sometimes me and my husband will be sitting there scrolling and I happen to look over and it's some ass and titties. And it's like, oh my God. Like, of course, I don't want my husband to see that, but there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can't stop him from leaving the house. I can't stop him from being on the phone. And as a matter of fact, my husband has to deal closely with a few sisters because he's in the entertainment industry. So he has, and I have to be okay with that. I can't be insecure. That would shut everything down. I can't be insecure. The first thing I do is pray about it. That is the absolute first thing. Pray about it. Like, Lord, help me. Why do I feel this way? Like, I know I'm not ugly. Why do I feel like that? And then the second thing I do is do all that I can humanly do to be the best helpmeet that I can be. That's all. That is literally all I can do. And also not saying no. If you know what I mean. I try very hard to make sure that my husband does not have to hear no in the bedroom. And on that note, my single sisters, let me just say this to you. Enjoy those nights in the bed by yourself. Okay. I know while you're single, you might be like, oh, I want a man. I'm tired of sleeping alone. Ma'am, sis cousin, let me tell you something. Okay. That man is coming. And when he comes, he gonna take up his side of the bed and some of yours. All right. And don't get me wrong. I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. But married women, you listen, enjoy your bed, enjoy being able to sleep at night peacefully. Okay. I hope you're sleeping peacefully, but enjoy where you at. No, seriously. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. This is what people don't tell y'all about being married. Listen, these men got appetites. Okay. Just how they talk about they want sex all the time, being married doesn't change that. And as a matter of fact, now you're expected to be the sole source of the sex. Okay. So enjoy where you at. Enjoy where you at. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Okay. But enjoy where you are. Enjoy your phase of life. Enjoy being single. Enjoy being able to do what you want to do and not having to consider anybody else. I'm enjoying the bed, but he better not like not having covers. Girl, when we had our old bed, we had 2 covers on the bed because I love having like the blankets wrapped around me. And my husband wasn't having no blanket. So there was one time we had 2 blankets on the bed. Yes, it was like that. What you talking about? I'm hungry right now. Hell, you talking about start acting like you don't be just as hungry. No, I'm not saying I don't be just as hungry, honey. But we talked about this. And there are some nights when a nigga just want to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I just want to sleep.
One time.
But it's about that time. I had so much fun with y'all tonight. We're definitely gonna do this again. I will see you same black time, same black station, Thursday night, 8:00 at Miss Mono's World, Monologue McGad, and on the Nasaya TV app. Please don't forget to follow me at Miss Mono's World on your favorite social media outlet. Instagram, TikTok. Oh my goodness, now it's not working. If you feel led to donate to the House of Mono, $, the House of Mono at the Cash App. Listen, y'all want to talk, y'all want some advice, y'all want something, y'all want me to bring something up on the show, slide in my DMs, send me a message, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm more than happy to get into it. You want to be a guest on the show? Let me know. I gotta go. Shalom. Shalom. I love you. Good night.